Heidi ho, everyone, and welcome aboard. Thank you, Sam. It's another Sunday market update. Thank you for joining us. It's wonderful to have you here as always. And as we begin our little trip around the world to see what our traders are thinking for the upcoming week, we also have to reflect on I've just been watching the local news here, and my goodness me, monkeypox. It's now a global concern. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Gee, we needed that like a hole in the head, didn't we? COVID, monkeypox. It kind of begs the question, what's next, doesn't it? Perish the thought. How about a clean bill of health around the world? That'd be pretty cool. What that's going to do to the markets, of course, is neither here nor there. I would suggest there's probably a few other things going on around the place, like wars and inflation and central banks nervous and wondering what the heck to do with themselves. It's a really sad scene, I've got to say, around the place at the moment. Yet the market's onwards, upwards, and they always keep doing what they do. Just the same old thing, over and over again. And someone once told me, whispered in my ear, maybe it was at Bali, that the markets trend more and longer than you think they ever will. I wonder who that might have been. She joins us now from London, I believe, where I think it's been a bit warm this week, Chloe.
Oh, gosh.
To say the least, right?
Us Brits love to complain about the weather, Geoff, but 40.3 degrees is more than we are prepared for. We don't have aircon throughout our houses and stuff. So
I mean, it must have been a big shock to the system for people over there.
It's been a sweaty week.
Yeah, it's pretty normal in Australia to get 40 degrees in the middle of summer, but not where you live.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't complain. And in fact, we have no right to complain, seeing as it's us that's caused this global warming anyway.
Indeed. Have we caused monkeypox?
I mean, yeah, it's doom and gloom, isn't it? If we think of it that way.
Yeah, look, let's keep our heads up, eh? What's going on with you with the upcoming week? What are we looking at? All
right, let's grab it and have a look. So I have been relying on the continued dollar strength for all of my trend trading. And yes, as Geoff says, I am always one to keep reminding myself and others that trends go on longer than we might think or expect. And usually when someone is talking about a market and saying, oh, that looks overextended, we're due a pullback, I think, well, yes, we are perhaps due a pullback, but that I'm going to change my opinion of the overall trend, and I'm going to still continue looking for opportunities in the direction of the trend, and that continues until I see a technical reason not to. So with that having been said, let me just move that out of the way. I'm going to start off with gold and silver. Now, gold and silver, let's just go back up to the monthly time frame just to remind you where these levels that I have on my chart have come from. So this level price has just kind of almost failed to reach, actually, but that's based on these two most recent lows. So that's a reasonable level of support just there. Price has failed to reach down to that level and it has bounced. So if we come back to the daily time frame, what does that look like on the daily? Well, on the daily time frame, it actually does still look like a downtrend at the moment. So I am still happy to look for short opportunities, and this doesn't necessarily have to be the daily time frame. It could be any lower time frame as well. On gold, I will trade down to the 15-minute time frame quite happily. So yes, price has bounced just shy of this level here and come back up, but overall we still have lower highs, still have lower lows, and this level that price has bounced up to, that is my key. If price gets above there, then I'm going to be fairly cautious about trading, because that is another level of support there. But as long as I still have lower highs and lower lows, then I'm still going to be looking for short opportunities until such a point as I get a higher low and higher high. Now, if price comes up here, then comes back down, gives me a higher low and a higher high, then I'll be looking for potential long opportunities on those lower timeframes. But as things stand, that's still in a downtrend. Now, silver, even more so, because silver, this horizontal level here, and again, let's remind ourselves where it's come from. This is a level that has been strong resistance. I'm now looking at that as a potential level of support. That is where price is just breaking beneath currently. So if price remains below there, then on the lower timeframes, I'll continue to look for short opportunities. It's not really traded much below this level. So it's not, I don't see this as a true break and continuation through this level yet. Price is more consolidating and kind of faffing around at this level. So I'm not 100% convinced that we're through this level, but in terms of trend, I am still going to continue looking for short opportunities. In terms of the currencies, now Aussie dollar has had quite a strong pullback, and it's pretty much bounced exactly in between these two levels that I had drawn in for when I last spoke to you last week, in fact. So it's come up to this higher level. I'm looking for a return to the downside. Again, overall, this is a downtrend, overall lower highs, lower lows. So I am going to be looking for a further move to the downside, unless this level here breaks to the upside, in which case there may be long opportunities on the lower timeframes. But for now, still bearish on that one. Still bearish on Kiwi dollar as well. Again, lower highs, lower lows. All of these price movements are basically the same, in that what we're seeing here is a pullback in the US dollar, and that is reflecting in all of these currencies crossed with the US dollar. But at the moment, it's nothing more than that for me, and I'm going to continue looking for short opportunities here. So this pullback here, wherever it might end, I'll then be looking for a potential return to the downside. Dollar yen, now this is one that actually is starting to look very tired, and I believe is due for a pullback. So on this daily time frame here, price has actually given a lower high and a lower low in terms of price action just here. And this pullback, if we look at it compared to the previous major, we would put a Fibonacci on there, which, I mean, I very rarely use Fibonacci. Let's do a better job of that. So that there has come way past the usual 61.8, which is the preferred area for price to pull back to in terms of Fibonacci. So it's come way past, and it's actually heading almost back down to a full 100% retracement. So it's looking tired on dollar yen. I am no longer looking for long opportunities there right now. What I will be doing is keeping a close eye on this and keeping on price action. I need to see a major lower high, and probably I'd like to see some kind of head and shoulders pattern. So I've got a left-hand shoulder there, head up here. I would want to see a right-hand shoulder around here, and I would want to see a break of the neckline before I then become bearish on this particular currency pair. So it's not that I'm starting to trade short right now. It's just that I'm at a little pause on my long trades until I see a technical setup to the upside. Euro dollar, this one again, still in a downtrend, and I'm still looking for short opportunities. This one has broken through a major level of support here, and there isn't an awful lot in the way of price before it gets down to this next level around 0.996 or thereabouts. So I'm still looking for short opportunities there if the technical setup happens. And cable, we've got going on at the moment with the political turmoil that we're in, with looking for a new prime minister. And so there could be other fundamental things at work here. Technically, I am still bearish on cable, but with the other fundamentals, I would I would hesitate to trade lower time frames. I'm still open to trading it on a daily time frame, just being a little bit cautious on the lower time frames while we just iron out a few things politically over here. The last thing really to look at for me would be the oils. And to be honest with you, oils, I'm not really doing an awful lot at the moment because prices still for me really consolidating or kind of between a range here. Highs, lower lows, but prices stuck above the 200 moving average and just above this horizontal level of potential support. Same with Brent. Yes, I have lower highs and lower lows, but this horizontal level here still stands. And until price gets below that, I'm not really trading short on there. Neither am I really going to be trading long because there's just too much resistance in the way of a clear run. And bearing in mind that the strategy that I trade is a high reward to risk strategy. I'm looking for long moves. I'm looking for not long as in bullish, but long as in longer term moves. I'm looking for a lot of pips when I'm trading these trends. So trading while price is kind of ranging and trapped in between support and resistance is not really something that interests me particularly. So I'd rather just let some clarity of direction. So that's pretty much my outlook for a few of the majors and a few of the things that I'm looking out for this week.
Cheers, Chloe. Look, I think we kind of mentioned exactly the same thing last week, where this is very dollar-centric, US dollar-centric.
Definitely.
And I noticed you haven't stretched anywhere outside of that. Interesting. Any of the miners at all crossing your path, or is it just a matter of no, they're all over the shop and let's not worry about them? It's all about the dollar still.
I think for me it is all about the dollar at the moment. There are a couple of miners that I'm keeping an eye on, but in the interest of time, I didn't include them in my watch list for today. But I will be in Trader Talk Radio on, I do Mondays and Tuesdays. So if anyone wants to see what I'm trading Mondays and Tuesdays, they can feel free to do that as well.
Speaking about miners, I think the only ones I'm interested in at the moment are those who are gold and silver miners. maybe coal as well, but both at support, as you pointed out. And interesting, yes. They're really at turning points there right now. And if they get through those support levels, goodness me, what happens next? Crazy days. You would have thought, with the uncertainty around the place, that they'd be going probably the opposite direction, but they're not. And I agree with you. This may not be done yet, this downward trend on both gold and silver. Eventually it'll turn around, but maybe now is not the time. We will see. Thanks, mate. It's good to talk to you again. Cheers. Twice in 2 weeks. We haven't traded, so now it's twice in 2 weeks. Catch you later, eh?
Catch you later. Cheers, Geoff.
Thanks, Chloe. All right, let's go from London town, where it's very, very unusual to be 40 degrees, up to Sydney town, which is a little bit north of me at the moment. And it's not uncommon in summer to be 40 degrees, but it's been a little bit damp and a little bit cool up there, Lenka. How are you doing?
Yeah, hi, Geoff. Hi, everyone. Yes, a little bit cool here in Sydney and quite a bit of rain. So today was actually sunny for a change. But yeah, no, it's a little bit up and down and quite cold, which I don't really enjoy. So I'm looking forward to something warmer.
Yeah, these East Coast lows that seem to be pounding the East Coast of Australia this winter in particular are becoming more and more frequent. I don't remember a time where that's been the case, and I've lived on the East Coast of Australia all my life, basically. I'm now not on the coast, and I'm not disappointed, I've got to say, because it seems to be a little bit tenuous, the coastal version of living in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a lot more rain and a lot more floods on the East Coast. Yeah, for sure.
Can we trade that, or have we got something else to look at? We got something else to look at for the rest of the week, or for the new week.
I think trading is always like surfing waves, right? You're waiting for the right one.
You bet.
Then you catch it, you got to be full on.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, okay.
There you
Let
go.
me,
Nice little segue. What's going on for you this week?
I will share my screen if I can find it. Here we are. Okay. So I am going to be looking at Euro JPY this week. What I'm looking at here is I'm going to look for short. On the weekly, what I have here, which I didn't mark up, but I will now, I'm looking at this channel here, which has been broken, and there's a retest in play at the moment. So on the daily, I'm looking for short from there. On 4 hourly, I'm looking for short. So either continuation of going short from where it is, or any pullback, and then looking for short opportunities there. The next currency pair I'll be looking at is Euro GBP, and Euro GBP I'm looking for long opportunities. So here I'm looking for any pullback from that trend line, and then looking for longs. And the next currency pair is GBP CAD. And GBP CAD, I'm still looking for short. So we have come back into that sort of range that it was in before, but overall trend still short. So I'm looking for any turnaround in here, either from where it is or a false break or something like that, and then looking for short from there. If it does go further up, then I'm looking for retest and maybe looking for shorts back from the top of that range. So that is the main 3 currency pairs that I'll be looking at this week. And that's all.
All right, mate. Thank you for that. One thing I would like to ask you is this, and I suppose it's not really relevant to trading at all. And I'm going back to Sydney, to be fair. With monkeypox and what's that other thing called? COVID. Sydney was a kind of a representative for Australia, I guess, in terms of high volume of contraction of COVID. Of course, after Melbourne, we shut down 100,000 times during COVID. What's the feeling like on the ground at the moment with monkeypox is only just on the horizon, it's just coming to being, but I know COVID and the latest version of COVID is rampant. What's the latest on the ground feeling on mainland Australia? Of course, I don't live on the big island anymore.
Yeah. I think it's going in waves. So we've always had, quite a lot of cases. Then it eases off. There's, not much, and then it comes back up. So at the moment, it sort of rose maybe a month ago that, I heard quite a few people having had COVID at that time, and then it slowed down, but instead we had the influenza or whatever it was. So basically another illness where people were quite sick, and then a lot of people also reported a lot worse in terms of symptoms than what they experienced with COVID. So interesting. I mean, we, especially I have kids at school, and we see those waves at school. Basically, they're magnified because the kids are, together in smaller space. So yeah, every time there's sort of a wave, the schools are usually hit hardest.
Back to the surfing analogy, there's wave after wave after wave. When will it end? I don't know. All right, mate. Thank you very much. Have a great week ahead. We look forward to following your 3 and hope that they come to fruition. Have a great week, as I say.
Thank you, you too.
All right, here's what I'm looking at for the week, guys, and there are multiple game changer bars, as I call them, and I'll start with Aussie Swissy. Aussie Swissy's telling me that we need to go short here. And am I a fan of that? Well, I am actually a fan of that, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Both of them through trade lines, or as I call them, trade lines, but they're trend lines really, because this one here has broken to the downside. Okay, there's not much room to the downside, I've got to say, but if it does go through this level here, then it's look out for Aussie Swissy. The rejection bar or the game changer bar is not absolutely 100% on the money in terms of it hasn't closed on its low, but it's certainly closed near its low. And that's the criteria that I use for a game changer bar. And the really good part about that, of course, is if you entered short here and you put your stop loss there and the bulls came back into play here and drove this above the trade line, then there's absolutely no fear here because you probably won't be taken into the trade. However, if you can get that little bit of 1-to-1-ish activity going on till you hit that, or before you hit that level, happy days, then I think you've got the reversal playing into your hands. Not dissimilar to Aussie yen, of course, as you would expect, a risk on currency versus a risk off currency, as both of the yen and the Swissy are. Swissy's been outpacing the yen for a bit. That seems to have eased a little. This looks very much like a three-pronged attack here on the level 96 cent or 96 as I see it. Perhaps a head and shoulders, not my favorite, I've got to say, because of the potential for this to not be a head and shoulders. But if you're a fan of a head and shoulders, then similar applies, because you've got a little bit of green there and insurance entry there. I don't know if I put my stop loss there. I'd prefer to put it there, I think, if you are trading this. It won't be my favorite. The yen has been weak for a long time, and the Aussie may be coming into a little bit of its own at the moment as well. So I don't think from a fundamental perspective that's the best trade on the planet. We shall see how it pans out. CAD yen, big reversal bar. Again, 100 times out of 100, I won't trade a single reversal bar. I need to see that lower high before I get in. Swissy yen, a little bit of a hint of a double top sitting there, tweezer top in fact. But again, looking at a single reversal bar, we've seen it once. Are we going to see it again? Maybe we are. But I'd like to see a lower high off the double top before I got into that short. Euro Swissy, wow. How low can the euro go? I don't know. I really don't know. But it seems that there's no bottom to the euro at the moment. And I get that. Euro zone is in complete conflict and is a big concern. Do I want to go short here? Not in 100 years. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of negative activity. Would I like to jump in after 6 weeks of negative activity? No. Would I want to buy it? No. Leave it alone, in my humble opinion. That's Euro Swissy. Euro yen, completely different on the weekly chart because they're at different parts of the world, if you like, in terms of charting. But there is a double top here. Maybe this is the lower high. And for that reason, I think this is a far better conveyance. That said, the yen, as I repeat, has been so weak, it's very, very difficult to trade it long, which in effect is what you would be doing here. But it is a big game changer bar after a double top, so it's certainly not the worst entry there. Stop loss there, you'd have to take profit at the lows. That's euro yen, a couple to go. Pound yen is 1. Again, double top, potential lower high. It's not there yet. This is a mess, frankly. You've got high test, low test, low test, high test. It's all over the shop. Very indecisive, and I couldn't really guarantee anything here, except that we better wait and see what happens. But it is a double top. It is potentially a lower high, and for that reason, there may well be an entry under their stop loss there. Get your profit in the bank before you hit those lows. Kiwi Swissy is the second last of our game changer bars for the week, and that one's reasonably clear as well. Actually, don't mind that. There's a little bit of a horizontal level coming through there as well. You've got one phase, two phase, maybe there's another one to come. And if that's the case, again, entry there, stop loss there, take profit at that level. You should be doing okay, I would imagine. Kiwi versus the yen's the same as everything's the same here. It's risk on currencies versus risk off currencies. And if we're going into a risk off sentiment this week, then we're going to go one way. If we're going to a risk on sentiment this week, we're going another. We've got the Fed coming up on Thursday for most of us. And for that reason, I think you need to be very aware that the market will change risk on, risk off throughout the week. I wouldn't be too certain of direction, no matter which way you go. The game changer bar here is suggesting to go short. Look, I think if you do that, you've just got to get, same with everything, get some profit in the bank before you hit these lows, and I think you'll be doing okay. Righto, we have to wrap it up, guys, because there is another another event coming up on this channel very, very shortly. And for those of you who have joined us today, thank you very, very much for your company. It's been a pleasure to be with you. And thank you to Lenka. Thank you to Chloe. We look forward to the week ahead. If you can join one of the shows throughout the week, please do so. If not, have a wonderful week and stay safe.